Most people see Netflix as a content company that streams movies to their living room. That is the current version, but it is actually the third distinct business the company has run since its inception. Netflix launched in 1997 as a DVD by mail service. They avoided that plateau by recognizing their daily operation was building a second, invisible asset. While customers saw the DVDs, the company focused on the information those DVDs were generating. The physical discs acted as a Trojan horse. Every rental allowed Netflix to quietly assemble a proprietary database of user preferences, ratings, and viewing habits at a scale no one else could match. They tracked exactly what people watched, how they rated specific genres, and which actors kept them subscribed. This data byproduct eventually formed a recommendation engine that could predict what a user wanted to watch with near-perfect accuracy. By 2007, Netflix launched streaming to fully capitalize on this data. The shift to digital distribution allowed them to apply their recommendation engine instantly, removing the friction of the mail and putting their years of gathered insights to work. This illustrates a core architect principle. A successful operation eventually reveals its most valuable asset as a byproduct. The DVD business provided the necessary cash and customer base, but the data byproduct provided the foundation for their next empire. Even as a streaming giant, Netflix faced a structural vulnerability. They were profitable, but they were entirely dependent on renting content from legacy studios like Warner Bros. And Disney. Renters are always subject to the terms of the landlord. Once the studios realized how valuable the streaming market had become, they began raising licensing fees and threatening to pull their most popular shows to launch their own platforms. In 2013, Netflix pivoted again by moving into original production. They committed $100 million to House of Cards, a massive capital investment for a company that had never produced a pilot or conducted traditional audience testing. Netflix approved the project because their internal metrics removed the uncertainty. Their data showed a massive, specific overlap in subscribers who already loved the lead actors, the director, and the political thriller genre. They used their data byproduct to engineer a success before they ever started filming. They used a rented distribution system to fund an owned library of intellectual property. By recognizing the data building underneath their operations, they transformed from a delivery service into a global production empire. This isn't a strategy unique to the tech world. It is the fundamental blueprint used by almost every modern megacorporation to build lasting momentum. Tesla sells electric cars as their visible product, but those cars function as sensors for their real business, harvesting millions of miles of AI driving data to build an autonomous future. Amazon used a low-margin bookstore to build the infrastructure for a global cloud computing business. Costco uses a warehouse full of groceries to sell a high-margin membership ecosystem. Across every industry, the most successful builders treat the visible product as a vehicle. Its primary job is to acquire the compounding asset that actually drives the next phase of the business. Think about your own daily operation. Whether it's a 9-to-5 job or a side hustle, you are likely focused on the one thing you've been told is the product. If you think your paycheck is the only output of your job, you are missing the byproduct. You are accumulating skills, professional relationships, and pattern recognition that could be more valuable than the salary itself if you knew how to use them. Even your time at home follows this rule. Raising a family isn't just a list of daily chores. It is the accumulation of grounded maturity and leadership experience that changes how you handle every other part of your life. The surface is the distraction. The byproduct is the play. Most of us spend our lives focused on the visible work because we haven't been taught to identify the invisible assets growing underneath. Look at the biggest thing you do every day. Identify one asset that is accumulating while you do that work, and drop it in the comments. Stop living on default settings and start designing your money, time, and knowledge intentionally. That's the architect's way.